So, hello, we're here with Brady Martin with Feed Your Soul Fitness, and we're going to learn about her story, her fitness journey, and her business, Feed Your Soul Fitness, today.
Yes, hi.
So to start with, tell us about the name, Feed Your Soul Fitness. How did you come up with it?
Yeah, so Feed Your Soul Fitness really originated out of my yoga background. I was hiking with my husband, and I had a yoga teacher training business, and I really wanted to name it, and we went hiking, and we were thinking about it and stressing about it and worrying about it because I wanted to print business cards. And when I was hiking, I was like, gosh, I just love this so much. It really feeds my soul. And something clicked because I'm so passionate about fitness and yoga. It really does feed my soul. It nurtures who I am. And a lot of the clientele I was working with would also say the same thing. So it was a natural fit to be the name of the business.
Oh, cool. Cool. So tell us now about your fitness journey. Were you always a trainer? Were you always running your own gym?
No.
Was there life before this?
Yeah, my life before this was really corporate America. So I was fit in high school and did swimming and softball, things like that.
Okay.
But after high school, just kind of didn't really know what to do. There was really no guidance and support or motivation to be fit. So I gained a lot of weight in corporate America. I was the store manager for a big box coffee company and got addicted to scones and pastries and whipped cream lattes, working 6-7 days a week. And over the years, it just trickled on. And one day I looked down and I was heavier. I was depressed, not very happy, not satisfied all of my life. And I said, something's got to change. So I quit the corporate job and did a reset in my life. And I asked myself, what's the number one thing that I've loved in my life? And how can I pursue that? And yoga was a big piece of that because I always did yoga for many, many years. And so following yoga allowed me to go into a teacher training course. And after I was certified, fell in love with it, my ability to communicate with people, my ability to connect, and also just that beautiful feeling of having them come up to you and say, wow, I didn't think I could ever do this, and now I can. So pursuing yoga was the first layer of that, and then I wanted to learn more, so I followed up with learning spin and kettlebells. So with spin, incorporating the cardio, having the playlist, the music, a little bit different vibration compared to yoga, got me hooked. So I continued to develop and learn TRX, loved TRX, and then I said, hey, there's something clearly going on here in a pattern. I'm loving this. I'm going to get certified as a personal trainer. And that's really the big transformation from being that kind of corporate, overweight, depressed junkie into really enjoying life, being fit, and working my way into it.
So for yoga, tell me a little bit about what you think of, some people look at yoga and they think it's stretching. They don't see it as a fitness regimen. What do you say to that?
Yoga can be whatever you want it to be. Some people will do it only as their only workout. So whether it's, yoga with weights, power yoga, athletic yoga, and that can be one course of action with it. Some people look at yoga where it's a supplement to add into their fitness regime. So they know they need that muscle recovery. And some people look at yoga as really just a restorative, anti-anxiety, anti-stress modality for their life. And we are advocates of all of it, just as long as you're doing something to stretch and move. And really our yoga that we focus on here at the studio is more in that gentle, restorative, basic area. So really teaching people basic stretches and trying to help them enhance their breathing and really helping them focus on their mindset while they're doing it, because as you know, your mind tends to wander a lot in those quiet times. So that's the yoga of the mind.
As far as for yourself, how you do here at Feed Your Soul Fitness, you do yoga, you do the TRX classes, kettlebell classes, and so forth. What do you think is the right balance for someone?
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. It really, most importantly, starting at a level that feels appropriate for them. So if they're brand new, you're going to want to pick one thing to kind of start with to create the mind-body connection so they can better understand what feels right, what doesn't feel right, if they have an injury or a limitation, and also how their body responds afterwards. A lot of folks like to start on the TRX because they're not used to working out, and you can do assisted squats and lunges. And the TRX is just fun for people. It's a little less of a regimented workout and more of a fun exploratory workout. So
Okay.
they respond a lot to that. And then they tend to get intrigued, just as I did, with, hey, well, what's this piece of equipment? What's that?
Mhm.
And then we start to show them, and they get so much more excited.
So let's talk about the people that you attract here at Feed Your Soul Fitness. You know, first of all, the market that you appeal to, from what you've told me off camera, is somewhat similar to your story, right?
Yeah.
They've been leading a path of their work life, and their health and work life is not in balance. So talk about who you attract and why.
Yeah, we do get a lot of the newer to fitness clients where they've raised children and they've kind of put everybody else first. So now it's saying, hey, here I am at 50, 55, and I'm completely deteriorated in my health and deconditioned in my body, and I've got to get started. We also attract people who are in their 30s who are just, a little intimidated to go into more of the aggressive workouts. They want to just get started and enjoy time working out. They might not be super concerned with losing a bunch of weight and getting a six-pack abs, ripped. They just want to feel good, enjoy smaller sizes of clothing, and also have more energy.
Right.
So it's a good variety in there, but really ultimately that everybody that comes here just wants to feel good.
So when they do come in the door, what's their experience?
Yeah, so their experience coming in is fun. We are playing 80s music and classic rock. Our trainers have personalities. They're going to ask you how your day was. They're going to call you by your name. They're going to have that personal touch to you. So you're going to feel involved and communicated with, and not more of an anonymous person of, gee, does anybody know if I'm here?
Right.
We ask everybody, how are you feeling today? What's going on? Because your body changes day to day. So, kind of low on energy, maybe you need to take it down a little bit today. If you're feeling really good and really strong, let's go for it. And just kind of showing everybody exactly what is going on so everybody knows what's expected as far as the workout. So we demonstrate the exercises, we show them the different modifications to make it easier, variations to make it harder, and everybody works out together at their own pace.
And when they come here, you do introduction and assessment of them, correct?
Yes.
Explain that to us.
Yeah, so I meet one-on-one with each new potential client in a body transformation analysis meeting, and what that is I'm looking to ask the client what their goals are, what their results are that they're looking for. And I'm wanting to find out what their health history is. So what's going on with their body, what things do we need to be cautious of so that we can integrate that into their training program. And I get to know their personality. I get to talk with them to figure out if personal training would be better, if small group training would be better, or maybe a combination of both. Then they get to go out and start to explore our training on some kind of an introductory offer and ask questions. They get some nutritional support, and they get accountability coaching sessions as well.
Accountability coaching sessions, what's that?
Yep, so our trainers get to spend one-on-one time with our clients discussing what their small step goals are for the next 30 days. We all have that one big massive goal, but sometimes that can seem daunting. And we like to highlight the next 30 days in a client's journey to say, what can we work on the next 30 days that's going to move the needle and bring you forward closer to that big end goal?
So give me an example of what some of those smaller 30-day goals could be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can have people do up to 3 goals, and some people will choose 3. Some people prefer to just make 1 and focus on that. If they go for 3, we like to recommend for them to do a fitness, a nutrition, and then maybe something around, an emotion. So maybe a mental health aspect, like positivity or gratitude. Maybe it's something with a sleep habit or hydration. So kind of weaving in something outside the box, if you will.
Sure.
Those 3 goals, we kind of develop a little bit further onto that. So for example, with fitness, if somebody wants to be able to achieve 30 seconds of jumping jacks without stopping, what can we do to get you there? Somebody wants to stop skipping meals at lunch. What are the specific steps that we do to help you stop skipping lunch versus just saying stop skipping lunch?
Right. So one of the, a lot of times, myself included, I was in a corporate job too. My weight was way up, so I relate to you on that story. And it sounds like I relate to a lot of your clients too. So you come in, you have a lot of bad habits in life, right? And there's a reason you're not physically active. There's a reason your weight's too high. There's a reason you may have high blood pressure or be pre-diabetic or what have you. There's a lot of things going on that factor into that. Years often of entrenched habits. How do you start to get them from certain habits, the bad habits, to adopting the better habits in life?
Yeah, one small step at a time. And I think that's what happens a lot, being newer to fitness and having just kind of your health, be not perfect at the moment. And so it's sitting there and saying, what are some of the smaller things that we can hit off right at the bat? Because hitting successful points in the very beginning is most important. So making some big daunting goal in the beginning, that's why a lot of people quit. So it's breaking it down and asking, what can you do in small steps? And also relating it outside of just fitness and nutrition, because of course those are important components, but who doesn't want to learn to sleep better? Who doesn't want to, increase their hydration, things like that?
Right. How long does it take to reprogram someone's bad habits into good habits? How long does that take?
Usually at least 6 months. And, again, people coming in are like, oh, I have to fix all this stuff. And it's saying choosing one thing at a time, because 0 to 3 months, you're just kind of getting your toes wet and starting to experiment with things. And you're starting to recognize, like, hey, I do feel better after workouts. And, wow, I do have more energy after eating those foods. And, you go back to maybe a sweet or something, you try it, and you're like, oh, that doesn't taste so good. And you're starting to understand those things. In 6 months and beyond, 3 to 6 months beyond, you're really, what you feel like if you skipped 4 or 5 days of working out. And so you're less likely to do it. And those habits are a little bit more ingrained in you, but also your successes are a lot more frequently happening. So you have that emotion of, I want to keep getting more. It's that good addiction that we get.
Sure. Right, feel the natural feeling high.
Yes.
Of working out and feeling good about ourselves.
Yeah.
But personally, I struggle with the sweet tooth. That's my go-to. I know smoking is another example. It's very hard to quit. When these people are going down this path with you and they fall back, which is going to happen often, how do you help them get back on track?
Yeah, it's a gentle balance of saying, hey, we're not perfect, and it's a moment that happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to everybody. So having that human experience about it, but it's saying, let's leave that in the past and move forward. I think a lot of people will beat themselves up to a fault. And so it's saying, oh, well, I messed up and I had, I went to a buffet and I ate a bunch and then I had dinner and I had that extra glass of wine. And so I guess I'll start next month to try again.
Right.
Pick it up the very next day. Stop beating yourself up about that and see what you can do the very next moment, the very next meal, the very next workout, whatever that is, to just bring yourself right back on. And remember, you're going to have a little bit of ups and downs, and that's why it takes a little bit more than 6 months to figure it out.
So is it okay, though, to cheat when you're changing your habits?
Yeah, you're going to bound to have those moments where you're like, hey, I really want that well-earned, brunch and enjoy a mimosa. Life is not life without a little bit of a brownie, a slice of pizza, a glass of wine. And we're advocates for that. We're not super restrictive, but it is in moderation. And there are times in your journey when you are starting out that kind of retracting from those habits is really important. You're kind of resetting your body, your mind, all of that. And when you go to do that again, it's not as really satisfying as it used to be because you've reprogrammed yourself. And that's how those habits start to instill for the long term.
One of the things, too, when you go from living one way to living another, a lot of it's your support group.
Yes.
Right? When you lived a certain way, you had a lot of peers who lived the same way, and you felt comfortable there. And so transitioning to a different lifestyle, healthier lifestyle, that can create stress in that with your old support group. How do you help them on that level?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually had a conversation with one of my clients this morning. She recently stopped drinking 2 months ago after her 40th birthday. She said, this isn't serving me, it's costing me a bunch, and it's really being detrimental to my health. So she stopped. Her boyfriend drinks, and her social crew drinks, and they do concerts and activities like that where it's very challenging for her to figure out what to do with her hands and how to socialize and have them not be peer pressure about it. And there's some people within the group that are, good for you, oh, I should do that too. And there's some people who are like, what are you talking about? That's crazy.
Right.
And so it's empowering her to say, you are making the right choices and showcasing, the successes and the wins that she's felt from that. She's already dropped 11 pounds in 2 months just from stopping drinking.
Wow.
Her energy levels have skyrocketed because her sleep has improved. And it's really showcasing that to the client to say, like, these are the great choices that you're making and you're feeling good doing this, keeping that reward going on. And reminding them that there are other people that do that, and maybe even yourself that do that, so they don't feel alone.
Sure.
I know for when, I went from my unhealthy lifestyle of, happy hours, bar food, staying out late, I had to shift my circle of friends because that no longer supported who I wanted to be and how I wanted to live. And sure, it was challenging, but overall, if I hadn't made that choice to leave, it would have been detrimental to my health and I would have never made the full transformation.
Do you here at Feed Your Soul Fitness, do you have some sort of supportive community with your members and your staff?
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's our current staff that we have here, like in person in these four walls, or our private Facebook group, our public Facebook group, we have support everywhere for everybody. And we really like to have our community be vocal about what it is that they're working towards and what obstacles they're facing, because somebody is bound to match up and pair with that. And going at that battle per se is a lot easier when you've got a buddy and you guys can share your successes together when you've gone through that together. So the community is very supportive of that.
So tell me about maybe an example of someone that you've worked with through your years of fitness coaching that's been a great story that you love to share with others.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite stories is Dan. He's been a classic client of mine for years, and he started out, wanting to get fit, wanting to feel healthy, but didn't really understand what it took. And kind of just went through the motions per se. And throughout my coaching, I'm trying to get him to dig a little bit deeper and figure out why he wants to be healthy, trying to stimulate that deeper, passionate reason. And it took a good course of time, but something finally clicked literally overnight with him to say, oh, now I understand. Now I feel that desire. This is my why. And everything just kind of fell through after that. His workouts were so much more meaningful. He was asking questions. He experimented outside of TRX with other variations to work out with, including yoga. And I think kind of having that peace with himself versus just kind of being nonchalant with it really helped transform him. And he saw substantial results physically with a loss of body fat percentage and weight, visually changing the size of clothes, but also mentally and emotionally. He really felt a lot more connected to himself, his family, his job, things like that.
Yeah. So see, if I met him today, would I recognize him from when you started with him?
No, not at all. You would by his laugh, but he's, he had the basketball belly and, the bigger arms, and he just worked really hard on his core strength and his cardio, and really just also kind of cleaning up the way that he was eating. He lived alone, so there wasn't a lot of accountability. He could go home and eat whatever and not have anybody say anything, and that didn't really help him. And so it was having that willpower and that accountability to himself, and again, him deep diving into his reason why he wanted to get healthy.
Sure. One of the things, I read an article recently that talked about you'd be crazy to get into this industry. It's brutally competitive, it's really challenging, so why did you do it?
I did it because I love it. I'm passionate about it, and my husband and I do it together, and we're passionate about it, and I can't see myself doing anything else. It is simply the most rewarding thing in the world when you work with individuals, watching them motivate themselves, come in, it's the last place they want to be when they first start, and they develop it, and they get that craving and that hankering, and then they start to look forward to their workouts, and they used to say, oh, I'm too big for that, I'm too old for that, I can't do that, and then all of a sudden they're doing that, and they're doing that and more, and just their appreciation for themselves growing, and you watch that whole transition. It's the most beautiful thing to be a part of, and of course they're so complimentary and thanking the trainers, but really they're the ones doing the work and trusting that guidance and doing all of everything that they should be doing.
So why do you want people to come here? There's a lot of options out there. Why should they come to Feed Your Soul Fitness?
They should come to Feed Your Soul Fitness for our unique experience. We call ourselves a training studio for a reason. We're not a gym. And our staff here are certified personal trainers that are much more than just a trainer that's going to everybody into shape.
Mhm.
We go a lot deeper than just the workouts. It being a community, us having that connection, those accountability coaching sessions, my personal interview with every new client. We want to make sure we're a great fit for our clients
Mhm.
and that our clients are a great fit for our community. It's got to have that synergy to it. And people who are wanting to learn more about themselves
Mhm.
would be a great fit for Feed Your Soul. They're also going to enjoy the connectivity of the nutrition that we provide here as well.
Mhm.
Because it's not your run-of-the-mill, here's a meal plan, follow that, you'll be fine. It's really, again, finding these small little bits of pieces that you can tweak and add into.
Mhm.
And I think with Feed Your Soul, the passion that shows through with the trainers. They really want to be here, they really care. And the closed environment, so you're not going to get a bunch of people staring at you and bouncing around. It's a nice, controlled, calm feeling in here.
Some of your trainers were previous clients of yours, right?
Absolutely, most of them were.
Yeah.
Almost all of them are. They feel like they've been on the journey with us and they've enjoyed their successes and they want to pass that on to somebody else.
Oh, that's good.
It's great.
So, but for me, I could go to a big box gym and I have every piece of equipment there could possibly be created for physical movement, and I can go do that. Why would I come to a studio versus this big box gym?
Yeah, when we give you focused workouts that are designed specially for you, we have no more than 8 in a group.
Mhm.
So our trainers get to know our clients, and because everybody's here on a consistent basis, we're all on the same page.
Mhm.
So we can continue to develop the programs. So you come in, you don't have to think about what's going to happen.
Mhm.
The programs are already there for you. We get to know you or say, hey, by the way, it's time for that 12-pound weight. Oh, by the way, you have that injury, you should regress here. Where at a big box gym, you're not going to have that coaching and guidance to tell you when the next step is appropriate, or hey, for where you're at in your situation right now, this is really a bit more better for your particular situation.
Mhm.
Also, really with our training programs and our small groups of 8, big box gyms, you're kind of going to be succumb to 20, 25 people in big classes.
Okay.
And it's really about the trainer's agenda of what's going on for the general public. With us having small groups of 8, it's really what's going on with the clients. Where are we progressing them right now? What's going on in their world? And it's very client-oriented versus trainer-oriented. Safety and form is also another really big thing. And so our trainers aren't doing the exercises, we'll demonstrate them, but that gives us the ability to walk around to make sure that the technique that you're doing is spot on, your knees are safe, your shoulder is safe, and you're not going to hurt your low back. We'll come around and individually coach somebody if they're, kind of doing something in an improper form, and if it's generally happening, we'll address the whole group. So really coaching of that safety, form, and alignment is something that you'll also miss at a big box gym, kind of working out on your own.
So if I'm a beginner
Yeah.
and I come in, am I doing 5 classes a week? Am I doing every exercise? How do you move me into getting an effective result from the exercise?
Yeah, definitely starting with 2 times a week at minimum is good because you want to have repetition. You want to be able to remember what it is that you're doing, how you felt, and slowly working your way, maybe you bump up to 3 times a week and then you go to 4 times a week. And just really what fits your lifestyle as well. A lot of times as beginners, people get really gung-ho with their attitude. Hey, I'm going to get going, I'll work out 6 days a week.
Right.
And something happens and they fizzle out. Whether it's an injury or they just lost its sizzle, and they kind of fall off and then they never continue. So part of building that sustainability is starting small and building your way up versus starting really big, really loud, and trickling down.
Okay.
The 2 times a week really provides a nice overview of the strength training, the yoga, whatever it is you want to do. And again, gives you those small successes like, hey, yeah, I went 2 times this week. That's a big success for me, and I'm going to do it again next week. And then next month, when I've got more time, I'm going to be able to fit in then the 3 times a week.
When as far as seeing results, I think that's a lot of people they're always getting on the scale. That scale didn't move as much as they thought it should move.
Yeah.
From what they've done in their life. How do you manage the results that they're achieving as far as wins and they're on a successful path?
We do offer assessments. Some people are really interested with what's going on within their body numbers wise. So not just what your weight is on the scale, because that's 25% of the story. So we really focus on, if the client wants to know those things, a full body assessment, which includes body fat percentage.
Okay.
So using skin-fold calipers, we help identify what your body fat percentage is, and of your weight, how many pounds are lean and how many pounds are fat. You know, reassessing anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, just depending on the client and their program. We can go back in and say, okay, so-and-so, you know, you've increased your lean muscles by 4 pounds, you've dropped your fat pounds by 3, so this is how your body fat percentage has shifted by 2%. And it really paints the bigger picture, and it also really helps them to say, yeah, I worked really hard, I was really focused on staying, you know, fulfilled with the way that I'm eating, and I made sure I was hydrated, and so these are the results I got. You have another client that maybe fell off the wagon, had some travel issues, maybe they got sick, some family stuff. They're going to get their assessments, and it might not be as big of a change, but it's going to really kind of show proof in hand of that. We also focus more, though, we have clients who aren't, you know, super interested in knowing the numbers for whatever reason, and they're more concerned about the way that they feel. So earlier when I was saying they want to just feel good, a lot of times people wake up and they're stiff, they're cranky, they're not excited about their day. They get home from work, they're exhausted, they have no energy, they can't even really watch TV. So wanting to feel good has to do with waking up, having energy, being positive and excited about your day, going through your day without crashes, you know, being able to talk to people and have that vibrant energy coming out. Finishing your day saying, hey, I could go for an evening walk, I can go socialize with a friend. And those are the results that are, you know, unmeasurable in numbers, but I think are even bigger.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Yeah, now, you talk about, you know, you and I both having corporate warrior experiences and what have you, and some with that, I mean, I was a road warrior, I traveled a lot. I'm sure some of your clients travel a lot. That's hard to stay fit and to be traveling.
Yes.
How do you help your clients when they travel?
There's nothing harder than traveling and trying to stay fit, whether, you know, it's the hydration factor, the airplane factor, being stiff, late night meetings and things like that. So we get to know what's going on with our clients. What does the travel look like? So are they in meetings all the time? Do they get a 2-hour window? You know, do they get this day off? What does it look like? So we can fit even just the smallest little spurts of workouts in. So even if it's 20 minutes in the morning before you get in the shower, you can pack in what's called a Tabata workout, where it's concentrated 5-minute sets. You do 4 of them, and then you're on your way. And it's so much better than doing nothing at all. So it's taking away that overthinking of, well, gee, I have to find a hotel that has a gym, and I have to go down there for an hour and a half, and then I've got to go take a class somewhere in town. Take it down to the smallest step possible, be successful at that, and then the next trip, maybe you expand your morning workout to 30 minutes. Maybe you're finishing your day with taking the stairs up to your room versus just the elevator.
Sure, yeah.
What snacks can you bring to provide yourself to stay satiated during your meetings without going to their pizza or their donuts that they brought for
The
you?
cookies in the middle of the table.
Exactly, those temptations. And, you know, just kind of coaching them through that willpower so they go into their trip prepared versus, well, I know they're going to have bad food and I know how hard it's like, okay, they're going to have bad food, and my choice is I don't go for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you spending time with us today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate what you're doing here at Feed Yourself Fitness. And we look forward to you having great success.
Thank you. We're really passionate at Feed Your Soul about helping the community, and it's a great thing to be a part of and to do with my husband.
Oh, good. You got time. Thank you so much, Brady.